Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. It's the blackest man on social media, signing black in and shining again, asking you to hit that share button because the message is more important than the messenger. Listen, I'm going to tell a story and I'm going to relate it to the title. Today I had to supervise 2 exams. One was a colleague who was administering the test to his own section. And then the next hour, it was my turn with another colleague's help as I administered the test to my own section. And these were 2 consecutive hours. In my colleague's class, he had one student that tried to cheat. The thing is, he was looking on the paper of another student that also didn't know a damn thing. And I'm pretty sure that their results were bad because I know them both anyway, especially the one that looked at the other one's paper. I know him. I didn't write the report on him because he was my colleague's student. I tried to tell my colleague in Spanish, because he can also speak Spanish, who the student was to make sure that they didn't understand in English what I was telling them. Long story, but I wasn't able to, like I wanted. Now, next up. The next hour was my turn, administering the test to my own section. There are 2 students. I have exactly 20 in there. 22 are on the list. 2 never show up. We've never seen them. They're already forbidden from taking the exams anyway. That leaves exactly 20. 2 out of those 20 can't say a damn thing in English, and this is an advanced English course. This is not for beginners. This is for those who know something and they're trying to improve. That's the level for them. These 2 little bastards did not belong, and now I know they cheated to get there. Because they cheated today, and I caught them. When I wrote the report, like I'm supposed to do, my colleague, the other teacher, tried to convince me not to do it, and I said to him, I know what I'm doing. He argued and argued and argued and argued and argued, and I eventually had to say to him, stop interrupting me. Now I listened to you, you listen to me, or this conversation's over, and I'm writing the report anyway. At first it was a scare tactic, then you made me angrier, deciding that you're going to try to defend them. And now I see why they're doing it, because they got you to defend them. Well, now I got to rip that rug out from under them, because the niggas like you. I want you to understand in the audience, this was not a pleasant conversation, and I didn't like telling this guy stuff like this. The issue here is that he's related to my wife. It's not fun talking to him like that. And he's been good to me. We get along fine. This is a friend of mine. But if you're going to have integrity, you're going to have to speak the truth against people that you love and like. And even against yourself. But even against your own parents and your own kids when they're wrong and somebody else's rights are at stake. You might defend them when it ain't nobody else's rights at stake, but you don't help them to oppress somebody else. And I told my students in the beginning of the school year, and then again at the beginning of the second quarter, and then again at the beginning of this quarter here, if you are an honest student and you are studying and you are not cheating, I'm going to make sure that a cheating student does not compete with you to get into the next phase or in the job market. If I catch them, they're not allowed to continue past me because that's not fair to you if you studied. Many of my students studied and they're going to get 7s out of 10, 8s out of 10. I checked one of the students and he is going to get a 10 out of 10 if I don't write the report and turn it in. So I wrote the report and I turned it in. It was heartbreaking that his teacher, not his teacher, but a teacher, my colleague, was going to defend him and doesn't even know him. And I know him because I teach him. And was going to defend the other student who was a real sheets of pit and deserved to fail. Because how dare he cheat his way all the way up to here and then stay in the class after I told everybody, if you cheat, I will catch you and I'm going to turn you in because you're not supposed to continue. There are too many students here that are honest and they study. Why should you be allowed to get the same marks as them and compete with them for a slot in the next phase or for a job in one of these hospitals? If you cheated to get here, you are she's a pit rat bastard. You need to get out anyway. I said this in the beginning. So now, today, I was supposed to do it and I did. But what makes matters worse is that one of the students had 3 lawyers from among my other students. I told my students in the beginning, if you are innocent and I catch a guilty one, do not defend him. Because then I know you cheated too. I just didn't catch you. Be careful about that. Do not defend the one I caught with my own eyes. Guess I used to think, you got these innocent people going and defending the guilty because that was a problem in this culture. But then I noticed something today. See, last few weeks I've been having trouble with a pair of twins. They are extremely Bedouin. Now they're not stupid, but they think they know everything like a Bedouin does, and they don't know. They interrupt the teacher to argue with the teacher about English. That includes me. Like they're going to teach me English. They do that. They'll ask me a question. I'll give them an answer. No, doctor. Nigga, who are you telling no? I speak English and it's a second language for you. But they're also the worst after the two who cheated. They do speak English, but they're the worst ones in the class after the two who cheated. Every sentence is a mistake. They're always going, It's painfully slow to listen to them. And then they interrupt you and argue with you. Okay. These were 2 out of the 3 that came to defend this little piece of crap rat bastard that cheated. He swears he didn't see the answers on the other guy's paper. I don't feel a guck. He swears to God he's not supposed to look. I told the class, do not look at your neighbor's paper. If I catch you looking, I'm supposed to write a report. This nigga looked. Well, he didn't understand when you said it. Why? Because I said it in English? Yes, that right there proves he shouldn't have been in this level to begin with. You think, why should I cut this nigga a break? Of all people, if he can't understand the basics when I'm not even speaking that quickly, then why the hell should I cut him a break? He cheated to get to this level. So why should I cut this dude a break and let him go to the next one? He's not ready for 2 levels behind us. Thank you for bearing with me for 7.5 minutes while I explain this to you. Does that sound familiar? Oh, man, let him off the hook, man. No, don't kill him, man. Don't go too hard on him, man. That's what you say when someone has a diminished capacity to understand right and wrong, or when they were really not trying to do something that bad, or when they've already paid some price for something wrong that they've done. This is not something you say when they're just hands down guilty, ain't paid no price for it. This is the 4th or 5th time. You see, we have a problem in our community where the innocent defend the guilty. Same thing. And this is what's going on. Not only are some of these dating coaches doing that, and then some of them are not. They don't necessarily defend some of this stuff. But what they do is they tell you not to go so hard on it. Well, it's up to you. It's up to them. But see, we have an epidemic where just like many of these Bedouins cheat, and it was a lot worse just a year and a half ago. Just like there's an epidemic in this region of the world with that. And it's on its way, but now it's decreasing. You were dealing with something similar back there in Black America where you're listening, or in Black Britain where you're listening, or Black Canada. Not everybody is doing the same thing and playing the same games on you, man. I mean, there are a lot of women that don't necessarily play these games on you as badly as some of the other ones do. The problem is you got a lot of them that are in the middle, and they will justify the effery and the games and lies and deception of the ones who do play these games on you. Now, like I say, I'm only going to promote marriage. But whether it's in a marriage or just in a romantic dating relationship, they're going to do the same thing. They will justify what some of them would do wrong to someone like you, but would not do to another guy who does nothing for them. That's different from most cultures in the world. Every culture that has that problem is dysfunctional to a certain extent and is easily dominated by some other outside group. That's without exception. Without it. You will notice that if Europeans defend, even the innocent ones defend the guilty, they defend them from darker people, non-Europeans. They don't defend them from their own systems. That's not how they work. They might tell you not to hate their redneck racist hillbilly cousin or their upper class decision making racist cousin. They may tell you that. But they're not necessarily going to tell the FBI not to arrest them for being a part of a hate group that's wanted for a particular crime. They may not have to tell them that, but if they did, they wouldn't. That's the difference. You're dealing with a scenario in which you may say, okay, you know what? That's wrong. And you don't defend men who do the same thing, but you may say, I don't know why he did it. I don't know the inside of the situation, but you don't sit up and defend a lot of things that the worst of men do. You don't defend the bums. As an example. You don't defend the serial cheaters. We don't defend ARC when he was sleeping with married women. Just as an example. I'm not even sure he really defends it that much himself. I mean, he doesn't say it was right. He says, this is what I learned from it, but even he doesn't sit up and say, yeah, I was right for doing it. I've heard him brag about that a little bit too much, but I've heard him brag. Let me rephrase that. I have heard of him bragging about this when he's in an argument with a specific man. That's where he slips up and says, yeah, like what he did was right. It was okay. It was fine. Because it was you I was doing it to. It was your wife I was doing it to. I've heard that type of thing before. I've heard of people saying that. They quoted him. I didn't really hear him do it to anybody. I heard him confess that he's done this, though. But at the end of the day, the point is that we don't condone certain things, many things actually. And when we know that one of our homies is cheating and his wife or his girlfriend is a good woman, we generally, if we're still close to him, we don't say, man, you keep on doing that. You get them draws. We say things like, if I was you, I wouldn't do that. She doesn't deserve that. If we still cool with him, that's what we gonna say. That's the nicest we gonna say. And if he keeps on, if he's got a bad one and he just cheats on her, we say, why don't you, when you going to leave her alone? Okay, you cheating on her, but when are you going to ditch her for somebody better? These are the things we say. You are dealing with a scenario in which many women that would, they don't cheat, they're not doing it and don't plan on it and don't approve of this for themselves, still don't want you to condemn this even when someone else does it and it's proven that they did it. You got women who would never do what Cynthia G did, but they'll sit up and tell you not to attack her for the hypocrisy that she so openly practiced. This is why the community's in the ucked fup scenario in which it is. You're not even allowed, really, to condemn this, but you better say something. If you're a real man, you better say something about the bad things that men do. And I want to tell you that you don't need to accept any blame for any kind of double standard for one reason, and that is that the real double standard in our community is the opposite of what everyone says it is. And I now understand why it is that there have been double standards in other societies that favored men. I don't agree with them. I just know why they came about. And that is because men did not understand women. Women have understood men. Men have not been able to figure them out. We've not been able to figure out what they want. And if we can figure it out, we cannot get it for them. It's not in our reach, and it's not our fault. What we want from them is within their reach. They just simply say, I'm not going to bring both of these things to the table. I mean, they're not mutually exclusive. I'm just not going to bring both of them to the table. Why should I? That would make him too happy. That'd be too good for him. That's what they're saying. That's what you're dealing with over there in the West. This is not a global phenomenon, by the way. This is a Western phenomenon. In our case, a black Western phenomenon. And I'm going to tell you, when you see that, you see, what you really have to be careful about is it's not just the ones that do these things like what Cynthia G did, the hypocrisy of it, or the ones who do something similar in a relationship or just as ratchet or just as hypocritical. you also need to watch out for the ones of them who justify it. And either you tell them, do not justify this to me, or you bounce on them. Because the message has to be sent. As an example, there are some lady YouTubers I was willing to listen to until I saw that they still gave credibility to Cynthia G and let her on the shows to talk and give her opinion, and they sided with her. After what she did? Are you kidding me? After what she said and then did? After lies, outright lies she has told, and even I was able to rebut them and refute them, and I'm a busy teacher? The ones that listen to her, you're going to have to cut them off. Black Women's Sphere is just one example. Many things she, as a person, would not do. But you know what? She ain't gonna say nothing bad about the ones that do them blatantly, openly, and there ain't no doubt about their guilt. When you defend someone because you doubt their guilt, most people would not blame you if you sincerely doubt their guilt. But when you defend someone and the guilt is proven and established, that's when people look at you and say, what the hell are you doing? You defending this guy, and that was him on the camera robbing that bank. You defending him? Oh, so you must be robbing banks, or maybe he split some of that money with you. You cast doubt on your own credibility, like my two students did when they decided, well, like two of them did, a pair of twins, and their own friend decided to do when they became attorneys for the one that I busted cheating, who swore up and down he didn't cheat. The other one didn't even swear he didn't cheat. He just left the room. That's it. But now I have doubts about this set of twins and about how they've been progressing from one level to the next. I got doubts about them. That being said, I'm going to actually go, when they take their final exam, into the examination room, because another teacher will be supervising them. And I'm going to point out the two who cheated and the pair of twins to the supervisor. And I'm going to say they definitely need to be watched closely. And these four cannot sit next to each other. No two out of these four can sit next to each other. Matter of fact, this one needs to be set up front. I'm going to move his desk up. These two need to be split apart. These twins. They need to be up front too. Only way that the four of them, you know what? No, the four of them should actually sit together right up in the front, right next to you. They say one word to each other, you busted them. That might be what I need to do to send a message to them. I'm cutting them niggas off. We ain't cool because of what they did. I busted one. He's clearly guilty. And you wanted to defend him and tell me that I need to go easy on him. And my colleague, I got to chew this nigga out one day and tell him, look, man, you do not ask me to compromise my integrity. Don't ask me to do it. I'm not making a headache for myself. It's a headache when I let them get off the hook for this stuff and they go on to the next level and get away with it. And then they're competing with good students who deserve it for the same jobs, and they actually get them. Thank you for being patient. I hope that what I've said one day will not be true anymore, but in the meantime, I hope it helps. Cut off even the ones who justify and become advocates for the guilty, if they know they're guilty. Black heart sign and black out. Black male power just because they don't like it.